How you guys doing? I'm live. Just thinking about some stuff. First of all, musically. Oh, let me talk about that too. Let's do that too. Is what I call the universe, and that's the plan. Because 3 days ago, just on a walk, and I looked down and I saw a pick, a guitar pick. And it was a Jim Dunlap Jazz 3 red pick. And that's what I used to use a long time ago. But haven't in like a long time. So I picked it up and thought I might try it again. And sure enough, I like it better. My tone is better when I pick. My speed is better when I pick. And I'm more fluid and just happier when I play. And that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't. We just wouldn't have not thought of that if I hadn't seen that pick on the ground on my walk 3 days ago. So today I went to Bertrand's because they're open today. They're not open on 4th of July, Sunday, or Monday, but they're open today. And they didn't have the Jazz 3 red picks, but they had the Jim Dunlap Jazz 3 black picks. Once again, I thought, okay, well, I bought 6 of those, but just in case, because originally I used to use the red ones more than the black ones. I ordered some red ones, but then I said, can I try out a guitar and play on the black ones for a little bit? They said, sure. I'm not allowed to film in there anymore, though, or I would have filmed it today, and I would have filmed a lot of it, but I'm not allowed to film anymore there. So sure enough, I tried the Jim Dunlap black Jazz 3 black picks. And Dunlap Jazz 3s, but I like the blacks even better now that I tried them. So I'm not even gonna buy the reds. I don't think. I just like the Jim Dunlap Jazz 3 blacks now. And that's what they had. I went with it. I got 6 of them, and now that's the picks I use. So that shows that I'm still in the universe's plan, because for that to happen from just the coincidence of me finding a Jim Dunlap Jazz 3 red pick on the ground, and then picking it up and then trying those again and liking the sound and my technique with them better, and then now using them. That's highly unlikely in a random or even evil universe. If the universe is not random, that things happen for reasons, and the universe is not an evil universe or an indifferent universe, I don't believe it's a loving universe. That happened to me, so I like when things like that happen. It changes my whole technique now. I mean, anybody can say that, and yeah, haters are going to say, yeah, right. The first video I did with the new pick was the one that was silent. YouTube cut out the sound, so I had to delete that one. I can't control when YouTube mutes me. That's not in my control. It's not even an action of mine. So I had to delete that one, and then I did a second one that actually had sound, and then I did another one since then this morning with the new pick. And that was the Jim Dunlap Jazz 3 red that I found. But now I've got the blacks that I've only played at Bertrand's Music so far with this set. And now I like those even better. So my music's progressing very well in this regard. And, everything is, and the universe is behind it. And purposely behind it, because I don't believe it was a coincidence I found that pick, and it was very helpful to me. It was very helpful to me that I found not only just any pick on the ground, but that exact one that helped me remember that I used to use those, and now I use a version of that pick now myself. The chances of that is kind of like winning a state lottery. If I went looking for a Jim Dunlap Jazz 3 red pick on the ground, walking, and just by statistical average, how long I'd have to walk to be likely to find that at any given point, I would probably have to walk about 500 years. I mean, it just doesn't happen like the chances of that happening is like it just doesn't happen. But yet it happened to me, and it happened for me. So I'm pleased with life and the universe and karma and all that. So now that leads me to my second topic. Oh, and I've got good music tonight. I think I'm going to redo the Quiet Riot trilogy. I don't like what I did with it. I had never learned Let's Get Crazy, and I hadn't even heard it in 35 years, and it's not on my hit list of videos of songs that I'm very familiar with at all. Yet I needed to make it a trilogy, so I threw it in there, and then I just didn't do a good job. So I'm gonna do a second take of that tonight, or / tomorrow morning or whatever, and then I'm gonna be trying out my my new picks I use, and and you know what I'm doing in my lives that I like. You guys can tell me otherwise or the same. I like that I'm interacting with you guys when I play, and not always looking at the guitar. In fact, I play my best stuff a lot of the time when I'm not looking at the guitar. The Mad Rater says this, but I'm using my equipment better. I'm using my pedals and you know, my amp knobs, and even setting up my guitars better. And I'm not out of tune as much as I used to be. I really got disgusted with myself when I was out of tune so bad after a while. It wasn't even my fault, really. It was more my guitar's fault, but still, I'm the one playing it. I'm the one in charge of it, so it still comes back around to being my fault, one way or the other, whether I like it or not. You know, the pin was, the guitar was so out of tune, I had and then the guitar slipped out of the pin on the bridge, and then I tried to put it back in, but I got the pin in the wrong way by 3 out of 4 chance, which I think I did, and it slipped out again. Had to figure out how the pin goes and to put it in right. Redo all the intonations on all 3 of my Jim Guitar Juniors because they all needed it, and keep and just make sure I'm in tune. You know, I just there's something to be said for just going for broke and not even caring and just playing at the, you know, spur of the moment and just going with the flow. But if you do that enough, or to the point, or you know, to where you do that, but then you're so out of tune that nobody can even, your music becomes unintelligible, then that's not acceptable either, you know. And if you guys have noticed, I think you probably have, or maybe you haven't, but if you have, I've noticed that since this calamity of such, I've been harder on myself as far as being in tune. I won't just grab the guitar at any given setup and just go live without a moment's thought, like I used to do for a long time even. So I'm cleaning up that end of my playing, the tuning part. But then I had another topic I want to talk about, but now there's a siren that might go by for a second. I'm gonna have to cover my ears because they're very loud and disgusting sounding to me, but maybe not. We'll just go for it right now anyway. You know, we're talking about the religion thing again. I'm just gonna say that you know, you have to know both sides of an argument to be able to make a reasonable and profound statement either way. And when I run into Christians on my walks and stuff, I always go with the flow with them because I know I can learn anything from anyone. I don't have a closed mind to anyone, and I don't say no, I won't do that, or no, that's beyond me to anyone about almost anything. So when I run into Christians, I have some things I can learn, even if it's not what I plan to do with it or what I actually do believe. So even though I'm an atheist slash Satanist, and I'm very likely going to be, or am going to be, or think I might be the Antichrist, but yet I'll talk to Christians anyway. I'll talk to them and see if and give their statement a chance also. And then maybe I'll learn something from that'll actually help my side as well. But you can't get something for nothing. To have an open mind is almost always a good thing. So what I learned is what dawned on me by talking to these Christians today is that I sometimes I'm love you. Hi, love you. Sometimes I'm actually subconsciously, or maybe just a little bit worried that I'll end up folding and being some kind of Christian. So, but rather than put my foot down, I keep my mind open, so I can see what happens in that direction, so I can follow my rhetoric and follow my path and all that. And so, what I realized today after talking to these Christians, they were very nice actually, by the way. Is that I came closer to understanding what a Christian has to do to be a Christian that I didn't realize until I talked to these Christians I met today. And that helped me to know that how not to decide that, and that to be comforted that I won't decide that, and therefore I'm not going to be a Christian. But I had to keep my mind open and talk to them to get to that point. Kind of a paradox, but kind of thing. But the thing I realized was, to be a Christian, you have to accept Jesus Christ. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even, you have to believe in him and accept him as Lord and Savior. And now that I realize that that's what it takes, I know how not to do that, because I know that that's what not to do. Don't accept Jesus Christ. Don't accept him as Lord and Savior. Therefore, I'm more sure of myself as a Satanist / Antichrist possibility, because I know that not to accept Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior. And the thing is that I can see, not only is that the thing to do to be a Christian, and that I cannot do that deliberately, because now I know that's what it takes to be a Christian, at least on a different level than I knew before, if I knew before. But it's very dehumanizing and illogical to accept Jesus as Lord and Savior. That's another built-in protection for me, because to accept Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior means to give up your life. Give up being true to yourself. And I'm very unlikely to do that, first of all, because I'm not that kind of person. And second of all, I'm a logical person. It's not logical to do that. It's not logical to give up by accepting something that makes me give up my life, just so I can be in some heaven someday. It's totally illogical and self-defeating. Yet now that I know that, and I know it more because I talk to the Christians, I'm less scared of doing that. And I'm more assured that I'm not going to do that, and I'm more convinced than I was before that I might be the Antichrist someday. So it all worked out, but it worked out by me keeping my mind open and talking to people that I knew weren't thinking like I do, but yet not closing my mind to that experience. That's part of what I've learned, and what I do as Shirtless Guy is I just go with the flow. I say yes to experience because that's what the universe is offering me. And going and saying yes is keeping an open mind, and that's doing the positive thing. Even if I know I don't agree with what I'm talking to or about, I still let it happen because it's for my own growth and benefit. And not only that, I can share it with other people like you guys. And not only that, it affects what I'm going to end up becoming, which affects what I'm going to share later with you guys. I love you guys. Rock on. So I'm more likely to be an Antichrist, and likely to be better at being an Antichrist, because I chose to talk to Christians today. And that's what it takes. To say yes to your experience. Don't filter. No matter it calls it being in edit mode. I don't go into edit mode until way down the line. I keep my mind open. The matter is always telling me about that, about making music. Jimmy, don't go into edit mode yet. We're not there. Just throw everything you can. Throw everything at this. Throw the kitchen sink at it. Throw everything at it. Throw all the paints on the wall. We'll worry about filtering it later. And there's something to be said about that as a way of life. Try not to edit your life until you're at that stage in your life where it's time to edit it. Now that I know more about not accepting Jesus Christ, I'll have more to say next time I run into Christians. But I didn't know that today, so I was good to keep my mind open today. Just go with the flow, keep your mind open. That's the Shirtless Guy way to do it and do things. And nothing was up my sleeve. We all talked together. It wasn't like I was manufacturing this, and it was the universe inviting me to do it, and I just kept my mind open and enjoying the conversation. And that's kind of like what my philosophy about life is. So, at least part of my philosophy. I've got several little things that I have as a philosophy, but that's one of them. So, I'm looking forward to some good music tonight. Love you. Please understand, if you can, when I get home from my walks, I don't always just go right into playing, because first of all, I've been on long walks when I get home. Today I left for my walk at like 9, and now it's like going to be 6, 7, 8, 9. It's like I went on a 9-hour walk today. So I'm not always ready to just jump into the playing mode, you know. Doesn't mean I'm not going to. I just don't always do it as soon as I get home. I've been walking for 10 hours or 9 hours or whatever, and sometimes I have to de-stress. I have to de-escalate, and I have to just I just have to get my bearing again and get in my energy and get in my zone. You know, it takes a while, and then but then once you know, but then once I'm ready, then I do my thing. You know, but anyway, and I've been getting good. I got good sleep last night, which is probably why I could have done more recording if I hadn't have. That's the problem with sleep versus production. You know, being prolific and content creation is that when I'm sleeping, it's good for me, but sometimes I don't get anything done on my channel when I sleep. But yeah, that's good for me. So it's like a balancing act. Something tells me tonight I'm not going to sleep as much. I might have a more prolific night on YouTube tonight and do more things because I might not sleep as much. Anyway, love you guys. Peace, love, and love.